Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the Rock Experience with Mike Brunn. On this episode, Vincent LaRusso and I are going to be discussing the newest digital reunion of Paul McCartney and John Lennon in concert. We'd love to hear your thoughts and comments about it, and we'll certainly share ours. We're going to also talk about how we think KISS may or may not be able to use the same type of technology to bring Eric Carr into the End of the Road tour. We'd love to hear your thoughts and comments on that as well. This is a really fun episode, a lot of good conversation. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. So let's jump in and let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the Rock Experience with Mike Brunn. Today I'm excited to have back with me my buddy, my partner in crime, the chemist, the man with plenty of dances, the man who wears bells.
Nobody knows what you're talking about
Nobody
right
has
now.
any clue what I'm talking about, but Mr. Vincent LaRusso, welcome back, buddy.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing just chipper today. How about yourself?
Ooh, chipper.
Chipper, yes.
Chipper like Jones?
No Jones. No Jones. Just chipper as in, I'm in a merry mood.
So am I. It's Monday and I'm in a good mood, which, not bad, right?
Exactly. And you know what? I was looking at this last night. We did an episode, you and I, when Taylor Hawkins passed away, but we haven't done an episode like this where it was like a fun, positive, upbeat type thing since February. We're now in May. It's far too long. So maybe that's why I'm so chipper today.
Well, I won't hold it against you because I've seen you recently and we've got to hang. So, I won't feel totally besmirched.
That's right. And we did enjoy our first pastrami sandwich of the year and plenty more to come this year. So
we got Kenobi Fest coming up this May.
That's right. Kenobi Fest. And no, that is not because Kenobi is going to be on Disney Plus. So for anybody who doesn't know, Kenobi Fest is our pastrami gathering, but who cares about that? Right? But yes, we have Kenobi Fest coming up, but even more important than Kenobi Fest, we're going to be totally like off the track here.
It's but one of those episodes, I could tell.
One of those. But no, hey, look, it's a lot of catching up to do for us. But during the time between the last episode we recorded and this one, you've got a little bit of exciting news and something I'll say in the KISS community that you started getting involved in. So and I'll say I'm kind of proud and happy I played a little tiny part in that. But why don't you
almost messed it up, but then again,
I almost messed it up on you.
So right. Why don't you start? You start and how it transpired?
Yeah,
we can tell the story quickly.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm going to rewind like 4 years ago. So that's 3-4 years ago. I live on Long Island, New York, and I had seen the KISS cover band, KISS Unmasked. They did I think it was a 40th anniversary of the first show KISS did out here in Amityville. So I went to see that, and I kept in touch with some of the guys there, especially one of the guys. And, always talk with them, always seeing him. His name's Billy, always seeing him in different shows, KISS, Ace Frehley. So a couple of months ago, I went to see Ace and I ran into him and I'm just talking with him, hanging out, blah, blah, blah. And he mentions that his band, the Gene Simmons in his band, was moving on to other things. And he was looking for somebody. And I was like, I might know somebody. And I thought of you, of course, but you live a little bit of ways from me, a good like hour and 15 minutes on a good day. So I was like, you're not going to want to travel an hour, 15 minutes to play in the KISS tribute band just to rehearse and all of that. So I didn't mention it to you. And then it was like a week later and I said to you, hey, buddy, hey, I ran into this guy, Billy. He's in a KISS tribute band. He's looking for a bass player, Gene Simmons. And I thought you might be interested. But then, an hour and a half drive. I said, nah. And you're like, what? You're a jerk. So why don't you take it up from that when I mentioned it to you at that point?
Okay, so yeah, I could understand why you would think, because previously I had played with Wild Side, and I said like the commute was difficult, um, doing all that traveling, but it wasn't necessarily the rehearsing. But after a while, just the traveling was a bit much for me. Enjoyed my time with them thoroughly. Xavier's a great dude. Loved playing the material, and did it I think for about 2.5 years. But
And you did that as a
as
drummer.
soon as and I did as a drummer, right?
Yep.
And but as soon as you said that, and Gene Simmons, and as you know, I've been working on a lot of Kiss covers with my friend Al, and we're going to release this thing. And I kind of, for shits and giggles, said, "Oh, I want to record a couple myself." And I did Dr. Love and Christine 16, and I got a lot of compliments on how well the Gene sounded from
Yep.
yourself and other people. And so I was thinking, all right, well, they would need a Gene. I just did this. I've always dreamt of like being in a Kiss tribute band, and just playing old Kiss covers, just being a tremendous fan. So I got very excited. So of course I yelled at you for a brief couple of minutes,
Of
like, how
course,
could you not tell me what makes you think I wouldn't be interested? Why am I hearing this a week later?
Yep.
And so, I got in contact with the guys.
Well,
and,
hold on. I got to cut you there.
Okay.
We were still on
Oh.
the phone talking, and I was like, "Oh, you think you're gonna try to reach out to them?" And like a minute later, you're like, "All right, yes, I already sent the message. I've already reached out." Like we were still on. You didn't even wait for us to hang up for you to reach out to them.
Right.
That's how excited you
right.
are about the opportunity. So now continue your story.
Yeah. So spoke with Billy on the phone, instantly had a connection. I think it's one of those things as Kiss fans, as we all know, whether you go on cruises, whether you go to a show, whether you go to a convention, whatever it is, a meet and greet, there's this instant bond you have with people who, even if you'd never met them before.
Yep.
Right. And that's the wonderful thing about being a Kiss fan. So he told me, kind of like what they do, and it's Kiss Unmasked, so it's not a makeup thing. And even that was a kind of a big appeal for me, because at this point in my life, like, to put on all the makeup and go through all that's a lot of work, and I'm involved in a lot of projects.
But you stopped wearing makeup like 5-10 years ago, right? Before then.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay.
But I would only put on before I go to sleep. By some reason, I love to go to sleep with Kiss makeup. You know
That's
what I mean?
right. Exactly.
So so anyways, so I had a really good feeling after I spoke with them. He gave me a list of songs to kind of for the audition. And I was a little nervous, but definitely excited about going down. And I met Billy right away, and instantly, like, we're looking at his Kiss albums, and you go down in his basement where they rehearse, and I see stuff from the Daisy, like the stuff I guess when they did the show there, and you just instantly know like he knows the history, and the other guys come in, and from moment one, when you hit that first song, and it probably was Strutter or Deuce or something like that, and immediately the vibe in the room was electric, and these guys obviously had their shit down, and that's wonderful. Like, for me stepping in, and I'm a perfectionist and stuff like that, I was more worried about myself. I wasn't worried about them.
Mm-hmm.
And as a bass player, I'm very critical on drummers, and I'm a drummer, so the drummer was playing the parts like to the T. I was so impressed with his tempos and everything like that. So there was like this immediate connection I felt, and I felt really good. And I did the 12 songs, and I was like, how about the Oath? They're like, oh, you want to jam there? I was like, all right. And I was just calling out those songs, and I could see them getting, oh, we haven't done it. How do we, oh yeah, let's do it. And they were getting excited that I was generally knowing these songs,
Sure.
And I mean, some of them I haven't played since I was a kid, so it was really, really great. And I called you on the way home because you're like, let me know how it goes. I was excited. I went in McDonald's, got my celebratory, quarter pounder, and just really feeling good about it. And I'm thinking, like, I hope I hear something soon. I feel really good. And, they didn't say anything to me when I left. So as we're talking, I said, hold on, wait, I got a text.
Right, and this is like 11 o'clock at night at this point, right?
Yeah.
Now you've got that long commute back from Long Island to Staten Island, which in my mind is like you commuting from the US to Afghanistan. It's that far away. But continue. It's really not, but that's what I translated with in my mind. So continue now. We're on the phone. You got your Big Mac or whatever it was that you're eating.
Yeah. Quarter pounder with cheese.
Quarter pounder with cheese.
Diet Coke, medium fries. So
and the Diet Coke has ice.
Yeah, it's ice, unlike you. So as I go, hold on. I said, Billy just texted me. So I look, and the first thing he goes, of course you're in, and the guys all loved you, and I was like, and you could take it from there because you said,
Well, look, I've known you for what, 45 years now, we say. It's maybe even a little more at this point, maybe 46,
more than
47. But yeah, so
yeah,
I've never heard you that excited. You're like, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah. You're like,
yeah,
you're like totally
yeah.
excited. You've played in a lot of bands over your career, music career. You've done your own music. You've been in tribute bands, like you just said, you were in the Motley Crue thing. And I never heard you this excited. And then my first thought was, damn, I almost blew that for you.
Yeah.
So
thankfully, look, you still get credit for it. If it wasn't for you, this wouldn't have happened. So thank you again for that, even though you almost fucked it all up.
Yeah.
But
I'll try. Maybe I'll message
Yeah.
Billy right now and say, hey, Vince talking really bad about you guys behind your back, and I'll edit this whole part out of this podcast. So he'll never know.
Exactly. But so since then I've done one rehearsal with them last week, and there was a moment, I think I told you last week, where I'm learning. They gave me the first 20 songs to learn, and the challenge is singing and playing these things on bass. It's that whole Gene thing. So at one point I'm like, holy shit, I get to do God of Thunder. Like, what's fucking cooler than that?
Yeah.
Like, I get to say
a song that you don't even love.
Demons.
Right. The song you don't even love.
Exactly.
Right?
Now I love the song. And, and we always talked about war, the War Machine thing for you in the 80s. And when I started playing the riff on that, I'm like, it was like, even now I get boost,
Boost bumps.
Thinking
boost
about
bumps.
Boost gumps. I get boost gumps.
Okay, very good.
So yeah, it's just been a great thing so far, and I know they have an announcement coming soon of a first show and all that. So I'm really, really looking forward. So thank you for mentioning that.
Yes, of course. Look, I'm excited for you. I'm excited to go to the first show, and obviously when it's announced, I'll make sure I'll share it on the page. And anybody who lives in the New York, Long Island area, you've seen Vin on the show, I would say go check it out. The guys are really good without Vin previously. Now it's just the added bonus that you get to see Vincent, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to that first show announcement.
That's the thing. Like, if you really want to hear the songs as they were originally done, and some of them like, oh, we're doing the live 2 version, so we got the live 2 ending, or the live. So there's kind of the mix of that too, which kind of makes it cool. So they really try to be as authentic with the sound and the performances and harmonies and stuff like that. So, and that's something I would expect and would hope for if I'm in a band.
Absolutely. And like you said, they're big fans. I know the show I saw, and then we'll jump into our episode that we were actually planning to record, but the show I saw 3-4 years ago was in honor of the 40th anniversary of the first show, like I said, on Long Island, or 50th anniversary, whatever. Yeah, it must have been, well, whatever, 45th anniversary. I don't know, whatever anniversary was, doesn't matter. But they were doing Life in the Woods, which is a song KISS only did out here in the clubs. And it's just like, if you're doing Life in the Woods, you're going really, really, really deep at that point. So these guys are all big KISS fans. So I'm looking forward to definitely seeing you guys when that show's announced.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, of course. So I actually texted you last Friday or Saturday, I don't remember what it was, a couple of days ago, because I thought this was kind of cool. And we're going to tie it into KISS as well. But Paul McCartney went back out on tour this last week for the first time in a couple of years now, obviously with the pandemic. And we know during that time, the movie Get Back kind of took off on Disney Plus, and that had a lot going on with it. And I was actually surprised, and we haven't spoke about what you thought about it. And I don't know if you saw any of my comments online, what I said, but I was actually very surprised. Okay, so I was very surprised. It's his first encore. He did the song "I've Got a Feeling," which anybody who knows the Beatles knows that there's McCartney lead in that, but as well as John Lennon lead. And when it got to the Lennon parts, rather than having one of his bandmates sing the part like he's done in the past, he had Lennon up on the screens from that rooftop concert, and they piped in Lennon's vocals. And, I think it surprised a lot of people. To my knowledge, he's never done anything like that before. And it was kind of like, whoa, holy crap. In some ways, like, I know it's virtual, but in some ways, Lennon and McCartney are performing together again. Obviously it's not possible for them to be in person because Lennon's passed away, but I know it caused a lot of reaction from fans online, about that. So I'm going to pause there. I know I sent you the video. I don't know if you had seen or heard about it beforehand, but what was your initial reaction? Okay. So what was your initial reaction? You click on the video, you watch it, and you see Lennon come up on the screen. What was your initial reaction?
For me, I thought it was great. I don't have any problems with stuff like this because, listen, first of all, you got to understand if McCartney's going to do that, I'm sure he's got to get permission to do it, and I'm sure he's got to be in touch with Yoko Ono, who's I guess in charge or whatever of his trust, or
Right.
So you're not doing anything disrespectful in that on that account. And listen, he's paying tribute or homage to his bandmate, and his legacy, and he's just promoting that. Now, some people, oh, he's doing that to promote himself. Paul McCartney doesn't have to sell concert tickets at this
No.
point.
It's
He's
not like he
Paul
said
McCartney.
beforehand, hey, I'm going to be doing something. I'm going to have John on video. I mean, this was told,
No.
even when he announced the song, I think he just like, we're going to do something special tonight. And then he went into the song. He didn't even say Lennon was going to be on the screen. So I agree. He's not doing this to sell tickets. Not at all.
No. And the fact that they have Peter Jackson, who's done the editing for this, and obviously all the work he did on the Get Back, I mean, it was perfectly in sync. I couldn't believe how good it was. That was the other thing. Like, you got to remember, they must have, the drummers, or they all have something that clicked to make sure that he stays in tempo with, and I thought it was awesome. I was almost expecting to do one. At first I thought it's going to be one of those things they called when like the person looks like they're actually on the stage, hologram, anagram, whatever the hell. Yeah. So I was going to be that, which that might have been a little weird. You know what I mean? I think almost like above with Lennon like that is actually better in my opinion, but
no, that was one of the things I was going to ask you about, because I agree. To me, having Lennon on the screen was a lot better than doing a hologram. Like, I know Dio's done that, his estate's done that, and Dio's disciples, tour with the hologram of Dio.
Yeah.
I just thought having Lennon on the screen was a lot better than having a hologram on stage. Just my opinion. I'll be curious to see what other people think, but I'm with you 100% on that one.
And there's something cool about McCartney was still forward, when he came up. And then towards the end, I think towards the end, he looks back at,
he's looking back at the screen. Yep. Now, I was surprised because I just assumed, because look, I'm not the biggest Beatles fan in the world. Like, there's people out there that are far bigger fans than me. I would have assumed this was the first time he was performing the song since that day on the rooftop. But I was actually surprised to see, no, he's actually done it in concert in the past and just had one of his band members sing Lennon's part. So I'm sure when he started doing the song, that's what his fans just thought. Like, hey, he's done this before. Right. And I'm sure it came as a surprise to everybody when all of a sudden Lennon pops up on the screen. Now, one of the things I'm wondering if you know this, I'm assuming it's the original key of the song. If they're playing that video up there with Lennon singing, it has to be the original key, right?
I mean, it doesn't have to be. They could have transposed it.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I didn't pick that out. It sounded like it to me. It definitely wasn't anything drastic. Maybe a half step, but it sounded to me very close, for sure. But yeah, that's what I think also made it so good. It was so accurate in my opinion.
Now, I think one of the things when I was watching the video, to me, and again, there's bigger Beatle fans out there than me, so you guys could help me and correct me if what I'm about to say is wrong. But the whole time that Lennon's on the screen, it's only Lennon from the rooftop, right? It's not like it's video from the Get Back thing and it's cutting between Lennon and George and Ringo and Paul. The whole video is strictly John Lennon. And I'm like, there's got to be some footage that's up on the screen right now that Beatle fans have never seen before, because even if it's only like a 3-second clip where like, hey, during then they switched over to Ringo, and now I can see John's reaction during that part. So even for me, like, I'm thinking if that was a KISS thing and all of a sudden I saw 3 more seconds of something that I hadn't seen before, I would think that's cool. So I have to think from a Beatles fan point of view, there's a cool factor of, like, at one point, I remember just seeing like John's like kind of like looking away while I guess Paul's singing a part or whatever. And I'm like, there's no way they showed that in the Let It Be movie. They must have went over to Paul to just kind of see John's reaction. I thought that was another cool aspect of it, unintended, but that's one of the things I really liked, is that the video back there was straight up only John, nothing else.
Yeah, one of my favorite documentaries, or whatever you call it, is from the Who. It's called "The Kids Are All Right."
Yep.
And they performed, I forgot what studio it was called. They performed Baba O'Reilly, "Won't Get Fooled Again," maybe one other tune. But on the special edition, they have like what's called the Ox Cam, I think it called it. And it was just all Ent whistle,
Okay. Yep.
And it was cool because you could just see, and some of it was, I guess the the film got destroyed and you see, and you know, and whatever. But it was just so cool because I watched that documentary a zillion times, and you got to see his entire performance playing the bass. You know,
Right.
I love stuff like that. And
Right.
I forget, and if Super Mario was on this, he would know is exactly, was it a camera shoot for that they did on the rooftop? It was a 4. I know there was one across on the other building.
Yeah, I want to say it was. I thought it was 4, maybe even 5, but
I think it's 4.
again,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, right. So yeah, to your point, you know, to see footage that you've never seen,
Mhm.
yeah, maybe you see, when you see the full shot, you'll see, you know, that same reaction. But like
Right.
you said, there are points where you see Ringo, where you just see Harrison,
Right.
you know, like with his bear coat on, or whatever the hell he was wearing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know,
Absolutely.
so that was really cool.
Yeah. You know, I put it to you this way. I thought it was done so well that I looked to see McCartney tickets over here in New York, New Jersey, and when he's playing and what I consider going, simply because I thought it was that good. I'm like, wow. All right. And, you know, there's a certain cool factor. You hear Lennon's voice in a stadium, an arena like that for the first time in decades. The tickets over here in New York were basically sold out, and the ones that are available are $250 and up. And I'm like, all right, it was cool, but I don't know if it's $250 cool. So, but we'll say if there's cheaper tickets. I enjoyed it that much watching it on a YouTube video that I would say, yeah, that might now convince me to go, which is ironic because we just said he doesn't need to do this to sell tickets. And again, the show here in New York is 99.5% sold out. So he's not doing this to sell the extra 0.5% of tickets, but it did have such an impact on me that I'm like, ooh, all right, you know, maybe I would go to see that. So interesting.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah, no, I could see that.
what about if Ringo came out and played drums for the song?
I mean, yeah, you know, obviously that would be incredible, you know.
Right.
I would love for that to happen. And yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
That would be great.
That to me is the only thing that could have made it even better. Now, the only thing I thought though, after all of this, was that, so he did that with John, and look, John is John, right? He's talking about one of the most iconic musicians of all time, but maybe he does something like that with George Harrison also in the future.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, he could be doing, you know, something. He could
Yeah,
do Here Comes
which
the
I thought was
Sun. I
in
mean,
his set list. I thought something might have been in his set list.
well, the thing is, there was no songs on the roof that George
Right.
did lead on, so you
Right.
can't get it from that. But with technology and other stuff, I'm sure they could figure something out, you know.
Mhm. Agreed.
Even from when they were doing the writing sessions, even bits and pieces, maybe. You know,
Right.
the thing about the John thing, it was continuous. There was no
Right.
break in it.
Yes.
That's what made that so great. He never left, you
Agreed.
know.
Which to me
So
is like I just said, you saw those extra parts that we'd never seen before, but just having him on that screen for whatever it was, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, at the end of the song, just to me
yeah,
was very powerful. And I'm curious to see, because I'll call it a casual Beatles fan, and I know people crucify me for that, but I'm a casual Beatles fan. There's diehards out there. I'm really curious to see what the diehard Beatle fans think of this, and you know, do they support it as much as like you and I are saying? I'm also curious to hear like people, and I haven't seen them comment on it, but people like Eddie Trunk, who's all against tracks, and I get that. I 100% get that. So people who are against tracks, do they feel that this is acceptable? Or do they say that this crosses the line? I'm kind of curious because so far, at least from what I've read, all the comments have been positive. But I'm curious if there's people out there that
that's what I was
think
just going
this
to ask
crossed
you.
the line.
Were there people being negative about this?
You know, I read on some YouTube videos because I watched a few of them, and I posted it on my Facebook page, and the feedback that I read was overwhelmingly positive. But I'm sure there's some people I think across the line. But I'd be curious, especially those people that are really against tracks, and there's a lot of them, and understandably, justifiably so. Do they see this as an exception? Like if you got Eddie Trunk on right now, would he say, no, using a track for this purpose is okay? Or would he say, no, using tracks is no good no matter what you are? I'm just curious what other people would think of that.
Well, in this particular case, my opinion on that is the guy's no longer on this earth, so he can't
Exactly.
sing it,
Right.
right? You have no choice but to use a track. However, the band is still all playing the song.
Agreed.
You know, they're playing to a background vocal or lead background vocal track,
Yep.
you know, so.
Yep.
And again, you know, look, here's my bottom line to this. Everybody else could go shove it if I was on.
There you go. Vincent LaRusso is talking
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. This is a legend, and one day will never be on the stage again,
Yep.
unfortunately for us. So
Unfortunately.
while he's still there doing his thing, if you as a Beatle fan can get that much more of an enjoyment of these are your heroes.
Yep.
Why not put it on there?
Agreed.
Simple. I mean, to me, and I mean, it's like you're giving back even more so to the fan, you know.
Nice.
So
Like
that's
get
the way
back,
I
it's
see
give
it.
back.
See that? I wasn't even thinking about
I
trying that
know.
in. So that's the way I see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I think I'd feel differently if this was being done throughout the entire show and every Beatles song, Lennon was popping up on the screen. I might feel a little bit different, but to me, as a one-off and one song on the heels of the Get Back movie and all of that, it felt all right to me. It's totally like, yeah, like it felt, it put a smile on my face when I saw it, honestly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And as you said, you're a casual Beatles fan.
Right. Right. And it still
So
put a big smile on my face. I'm like, oh, that's freaking cool. That's really cool.
I could hear Super Mario going, wow, this is great. This is great.
Yeah.
I hear him, you know what I mean?
Yep.
You know, so now watch, I'm all wrong about that. No, I'm not wrong about that. And I'm
No.
sure he'll chime in the comments.
I'm sure he
So,
will. So speaking of then on the comments, I know when I posted on my Facebook page, and you know, I've even seen it on some other KISS pages, people are saying, hey, this is what KISS should have done for Eric Carr on the End of the Road tour. And my first thought was, yeah, this is what they should have done for Eric Carr on the End of the Road tour. And then I paused myself and said, a little bit different drummer who really doesn't have many or hardly any lead vocals compared to John Lennon. So what are your thoughts? Should KISS have incorporated this type of technology into the End of the Road of somehow honor Eric Carr?
so what would he been able to do it on? Black Diamond, right? Like a lead vocal on Black Diamond.
Mhm.
I mean, there is the Beth vocal he did do for Smashes Thrashes. So
But there's probably no video of that.
no, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
What were they gonna have? Eric singing lip sync, Eric
Right.
Carr's vocal track? That
No,
would have
no.
been weird.
No, you
So it's
don't want
basically
that at all.
Black Diamond, or if they were gonna bring back what used to do, Young and Wasted, or
He did Young and Wasted, yeah, which I mean, they're never going to do that on the End of the
Right.
Road. So that's
Right. So it would only be really Black Diamond at this point, unless I mean,
which is interesting because I tried to run through some scenarios in my mind and I never even thought of Black Diamond, which is interesting, right? So if they pulled video from like the Animalize Uncensored thing, I just don't know.
they would
if
have to
that
slow it
works.
down 35%.
Exactly. Exactly. That's
They would
very
have to
true.
change.
God
the
forbid they
pitch,
tried to. God forbid they tried to play it at that tempo that video was
Yeah.
at. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't know that works in my mind the way it does with Lennon. First off, you're now talking a full song with a lead vocal as opposed to the Lennon thing just kind of coming in at the end. I'm not sure that works in my opinion.
Look, I know everything's timed, and I know at one point in the concert, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you've gone to 35 of them in one day.
One day, yes.
They do like towards the end of the show, I remember where they do like a little montage of different live thing of the
Right.
different members who've been in. I think Vinnie Vincent gets a quick splash,
Yes.
if I remember correctly.
Yep.
It would have been cool if they would have done something like Eric Carr and then had some boom, 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 boom. Bruce Kulick, boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
And even Vinnie Vincent, like just like as a Mark St. John, even if it was very brief,
Sure.
that would have kind of been a little cool, I think, to really give. I think the fans would have loved that, to see that
Right.
moment while the song's
agree.
playing. They don't have to, talk and then, we're going to show this video here. They
Right.
could have had it running in the background on whatever song, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? I think that would have been cool. I mean, they do some of that with that one montage, like I said, but
Right.
to put the names there.
But it's quick.
you
It's
know.
quick and the casual
Yeah.
fan is not picking up on any of that type of stuff. So what about this? What if they had, let's assume they have a lot of video unused from the I Love It Loud video, and they have Eric Carr playing the drums, and they did that song with Eric Carr on the screen playing drums, right? And you have that on a track and the rest of the band playing live, and singer kind of sits out the song.
And there's no one behind the drum set.
There's nobody behind the drum set. It's just Eric Carr on the screens. I'm not saying I like this or not. I'm throwing out other ideas because I was like, how would KISS even try to make something like this work? That was one thing that came to mind. What are your thoughts on that? No drama.
Not as excited.
I agree. I totally agree. I was setting you up for something I don't like. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Listen, I wouldn't be in pain watching it. You know what I mean? I'd be like, all right, this is interesting, but I mean, not entirely excited about that idea either.
Agreed.
know?
So what if then they did the start of I Love It Loud, just with Eric Carr on the screen, like boom, boom, pa, and Gene doing the like the hey, yeah, getting the crowd singing, and then they stop, and then like Eric singers on the drums like hits the hi-hat, and then they go into it live, the whole band, and Eric
Well,
Carr just fades off the screen.
either that, or even if they had it in sync with Eric playing,
Mm-hmm.
with Eric on the big screen, and they're both going dun dun, dun and they're
Mm-hmm.
both playing. I
Mm-hmm.
would think that would be cool too. It doesn't have to. You don't have to not have Eric be playing.
Right. Right. That's fair.
Because that's a track,
True.
right? So might as well have the sound of the drums, because then it's going to sound weird because you got to try to match,
Right.
the drum sound to what they're doing. Also, the drums. I mean, I just think like if they would have synced it like exact boom, and you see both Eric, like
Mhm.
both Erics playing, like
Mhm.
dual Erics.
Dual
That's
Erics.
pretty damn cool.
That
That would
actually
be,
cool. That would be cool,
Yeah.
right? So think
Yeah.
about like they have the different screens usually in these arenas, and on the side screens you could have Carr on both sides,
Yeah.
and on the one on stage
Mhm.
you could still have whatever they have during the song. Yeah, that to me could work. That could work. It's
Or-
obviously tricky when you're talking about a drummer compared to a lead singer. But go ahead.
Or you see Eric in the middle of the screen, and the song
Which
starts,
Eric?
and you see
Carr?
him kind of. I'm sorry, Eric Singer, right?
Okay.
And you
sing.
see him pointing to the screen like this with the
Mhm.
drumstick, and then all of a sudden you see the footage, doom, doom, dots,
Mhm.
doom, dot, and then Eric comes in, doom, doom, then he comes
Right.
in like letting Eric Carr lead it, and
Right.
then he comes in. That would kind of be cool, like a
That would be
little
cool.
interaction,
Right.
in a ways,
Right. 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 Right.
paying a little tribute to Eric Carr,
Agreed. Now, it doesn't work to me if they just was showing the I Love It Loud video. It has to be like we were saying with Lennon, it was just straight up Lennon footage. To me, that would work if it was just straight up Eric Carr footage playing the song during the video, which they may not even have. Yeah, I don't know. But to me, I like what you're saying. I hadn't thought of that one of, having Carr on the screens playing while singers playing as well.
Yeah.
That could work.
Yeah.
That's a way it could work. The only other one I had thought of is they're doing Tears Are Falling now, and Eric Carr does the whole second verse, with Paul. Could they show Eric Carr up on the screen singing? But even that, like, it doesn't feel right to me. If they took footage from that video, but I think I like your idea of, them just showing Eric Carr playing the drums. It doesn't even have to be the whole song. It could just be the first verse, or it could be the last verse, the last chorus or something like that. Think about it. Lennon wasn't on for the whole song on the screen. It was just the end part, which I know that's when he's singing the lead, but
The other one that would work if they had footage of it, of course, would be the break at the end of God Gave Rock and Roll to You,
Right. Yes.
Where Eric does his part with Paul.
Yep.
But they have the track, obviously, but they don't have.
They might not have video.
As far as I know, where would they? I mean, even they did a video for that, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
But that was like more of a for the film, right? There wasn't really just
no.
KISS, if I remember.
There's performance in that. There's performance video.
Performance and the movie.
Yeah, I think there's clips in the movie. There might be.
So I don't know at that part. Yeah, me too. I don't know at that part. You would see Eric singing. No, wait, Eric wasn't in that.
No, Eric Carr was in that. Eric Carr was in that, but I don't think they show him singing at all during that part. I could be wrong. It's been years since I've watched the video, but he's definitely in the video. He's definitely playing drums in the video. But
that was the last video because he insisted on being in it, right?
Yes, exactly. That was just a few months before he passed. So
yeah.
So there's different ways. I happen to love your I Love It Loud idea. And it would take a song, I think, for casual fans that a lot of them are sick and tired of hearing that song in concert. I think it would make it a somewhat of a highlight of the show if you had Eric Carr up on the screens during that. I like your idea. I call Gene, get him on the phone.
Listen, you're the one with Doc McGee's number, not me.
Yeah, but you play Gene in a band now, so I figured maybe you have that connection with him.
No. You have more of the connection. You got the connection. You've interviewed Paul, you've interviewed Doc, so you've had 3,500 meet and greets with Gene, so you own more instruments than him.
3,500 in one day, right?
Yeah, exactly.
After going to 35 concerts in one day.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. Well, I'll be curious to see what KISS fans who are watching this, what they think of as ways to maybe pay homage to Eric Carr. I'm curious if KISS fans have watched. I have to imagine many of them have watched this Lennon McCartney video. If you haven't, I'll put in the links down below this if you're watching on YouTube. Check out that video. And I'd love to hear KISS fans' thoughts on, is there a way to incorporate that type of technology into a KISS show to honor what I feel is Eric Carr the way it should be done, the right way. I just, these are the last shows, and to me, Eric Carr needs to be honored in some way. So maybe that's because he was always my guy in the 80s, but I kind of feel like there deserves to be some kind of mention of him.
Especially when there's still in the universe that Gene and Paul didn't handle that whole thing well when he passed. It's still that thing that always swirls around.
Right.
So I'm sure that I think you have some sort of connection with the family, and you've worked and done some stuff with them.
Yep.
I'm sure they would be appreciative of it too.
I would think so.
Um,
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep. Well, it'll be interesting to see what KISS fans can come up with. Yeah. I think on that note, buddy, so I think we agree. We both like the way McCartney's handling the video there with John Lennon. A couple of ideas here for KISS. I look forward to your KISS show with KISS Unmasked. Coming soon.
Thank you.
To an arena near you on Long Island.
Arena.
I find a
arena
stadium.
might be a little. Yeah.
A stadium, right?
Yeah.
No, and we will look forward to that. What were you gonna say? Did I cut you off?
I said we might be playing your pool party. Who knows?
That would be quality. That would be a good time.
Right? I just thought about that.
That would be a good time. It could even be an acoustic show.
Yeah, get the whole band there. Why not? You can have it make it an event.
I like this idea. But you guys have to do Hooligan for me. That's it.
Nah, don't worry. We'll do it 3 times if you like.
Okay, good. Very good. Now I'm going to marinate that one. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a very good idea. I like that. So, well, buddy, on this note, it was good to do this again.
Yeah, definitely.
I think now I'll go eat a pastrami sandwich in honor of
me
the start
too.
of the video.
What's for lunch?
That's
Go to that pastrami shop.
You got a pastrami shoppy.
Shoppy.
That's right.
SHOPPE.
That's that's like the DOGG.
Yeah.
All right, enough of that. Sure, again, off track here. But all right, buddy, this is fun. Thank you, everybody, for watching as always. Until next time. Double Ringo.
Double Ringo. Wait.
Later, everybody. Have a good one.
All right, later.
Bye.
All right.
Alrighty, there you have it. We'd love to hear your thoughts on what you thought about Paul McCartney using John Lennon's video in concert and having John singing some of the lyrics to one of their songs. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your comments, and if you thought that was cool or not. Especially if you're a diehard Beatles fan, I'd love to know what your thoughts are on that. Also, for all the KISS fans out there, I'd love to hear your thoughts and your comments about how KISS could maybe incorporate Eric Carr into their show on the End of the Road tour, much like Paul has done with John Lennon. I'd love to see what you guys could come up with. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button below. If you're listening to one of my podcasts, subscribe over there as well. Also, head on over to Facebook and follow my page, The Rock Experience with Mike Brunn, where each and every day we talk about all the rock and roll music that you love. You could also follow me on Instagram and Twitter as well. That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you all next time.